Hi, everybody. This is Hondo Carpenter, your Las Vegas Raiders beat writer for Sports Illustrated and the host of the Las Vegas Raiders Insider Podcast. It is so good to be with you today. We are sitting here, and it's Thursday. I have no idea what the date is. 18th. So we're sitting here on the 18th. I should have known that. It's the 18th. We're 5 days away from training camp. It's great to be with you all today. Thank you for joining me. We're going to do something we've never done today on the podcast ever. And I wasn't excited to do it until someone in my inner circle really convinced me yesterday that it was a good idea. And I have learned that if you have wise people around you, that there's wise counsel available. And a wise man will listen to wise counsel. And so I'm going to do it today. We're going to read emails. But here's the thing. Every one of the emails is from kids. And some of the questions are super, super, super good football questions. They're all football, and then some of them are wanting to have things explained to them. So I really like it. And I think that you will too. I think it'll be enjoyable. Well, let's just get into it, okay? The first one comes to us from Terry A., Terria. Dear Mr. Carpenter, I get to watch your podcast every day. It is a podcast that my parents say that they can trust to babysit me. I'm not a baby, though. I'm 8 3/4. Terry, I'm not laughing at you. It's just so precious. But what I like is that they think it babysits me, but they watch it with me. We are very big Raider fans. I just wanted to know if you could tell me, what is it about your reporting that my parents say they can trust it with me? I enjoy it. I think you're funny. I think it's funny when you say things and it shows how old you are. That's not funny. I think it's fun that you're an old person and you're funny. I don't have grandparents, and my dad and mom joke that to them you're Uncle Hondo, but to me I'm your Grandpa Hondo. Thank you for what you do. Hope to meet you tailgating at one of the games. We are season ticket holders. Terry. Well, Terry, that is so sweet. Thank you so much. So first of all, how awesome is it you get to go to a lot of Raider games? That's really cool. So how is it that I'm a reporter that's safe? I don't know, Terry. And I want to explain why. I don't know because I don't watch a lot of other reporters. Now, before you think that's arrogant, I have a lot of friends that are reporters and do good stuff. And so my watching is because I'm so busy doing my job. I hope that makes sense to you. It's not because I think, oh, look at me, I'm better than everyone. Don't ever be arrogant. Don't ever be arrogant. Be humble. But so I don't know what others do. In fairness, although I do believe that they do good work, I don't know. I can tell you a couple of things that I would think. I endeavor, or it is my purpose. I hope that's probably a better word for an 8 3/4. And you better get that 3/4 in. That's a really big deal. Very big deal. I am 53 1/4. So I understand the importance of quarters. And how can you not understand the importance of quarters when you're a football fan, right? But I would tell you that I endeavor to be very clear delineating, very clear expressing or saying what I think, what's my opinion, and then what I know to be factual. I think that's important. I think that's very, very important. So I think what mom and daddy are probably saying, is that I'm very careful about making sure what's opinion and what's Hondo's thoughts, and that's probably what they mean. But I hope that answers your question, Terry, and thank you for watching. I'm glad that you love football. Football is a great sport. I'll tell you this real quick, and you'll love this, Terry. Football is a game that we gather around, and it doesn't matter what color you are, and it does not matter if you have a lot of money or you have no money. It doesn't matter if you have grandparents or you don't. It's a game that when people come together, the only thing that matters is silver and black. Football brings us together. And that's really cool. We live in a time right now where we need to be more respectful of each other. And we need to find things that bring us together, not things that pull us apart. And football does that. And I love and enjoy football. Thank you, Terry. Okay, the next one comes to us from the letter P, last name Wright. This is what P. Wright says. Hi, Uncle Hondo. I am 13, and I'm really excited about the Raiders season. I watch your podcast almost every day, and it's so fun and funny. I would love for you to tell me if you think I'm wrong. Here are my expectations. I read an exclusive story that you did with Davante Adams on Wednesday, in which he said expectations start with getting to the playoffs. I think that's very fair. We know what Davante thinks. Is that what you think? And that's from P. Wright, who's 13 years old, and P lives in Oregon. Great question, P. I totally agree with Davante. When you are a Raiders organization that has sold itself on just win, baby, then I think you have expectations of higher than 500. And higher than 500 gets you close to the playoffs. But this team and this roster is playoff capable. I totally support Davante and agree with him. And I think that should be the expectations. It's why I think this team, when I do my expectations, P, every year, I take off what do I think is the best case in the regular season, which this year I think is 11 games. What do I think is the worst case? 9. And then I try to go somewhere in the middle. So great question. And thank you for asking us. The next one comes to us from Wayne C. Wayne C. Wayne lives in the UK. For all you kids watching, that's the United Kingdom. And Wayne says, Dear Mr. Carpenter, I loved your podcast every day. I listen every day. It is so good. I thought it was really cool recently when you did a show with an American flag and talked about America being the greatest country in the world to you, but told all of us that we need to think that way about our country if we don't live in America. I had never thought about that way. I am very proud to be British. I had never thought about being proud about that stuff. I think that's very cool. I told my parents that I think it would be cool if we had a British flag. And when my dad asked why, I told him, we are very big Raider fans. My father was in the military for my country, and he went to America for something to do with military for a few years and became a Raider fan. We really enjoy it. We like American football, and we really like your podcast. Thank you, and I would appreciate it if you would read this, even though I'm a kid. And that's from Wayne C. in the UK. Wayne, There you go, buddy. That is a great attitude. You live in a great country. England's a great country. A great country. You should be proud of it. You should absolutely be proud to be. There's nothing wrong with that. It's who you are. It's part of your heritage. It's absolutely part of your heritage. You should be proud of it and enjoy it. And if there's things about Britain, or if there's things about America, if kids are from America or kids are from any country, if there's things about your country you say, I don't like that, then guess what? Go get in the process. Fix it. I think it's awesome. I love to read the biography of Winston Churchill, Wayne. And if you haven't, man, go read it. You want your chest to pop out and you want to be a proud member, I'm a proud part of the UK, go read about Winston Churchill and Margaret Thatcher. Tough, strong people who loved England. And then when you get to study them and read about them, and that when you read about what Winston Churchill did when your soldiers were at Dunkirk, let me tell you, those are some great books to read. I challenge you to go read them and be very proud. And remember, there are things about America that I would like to change. And there are going to be things about Britain that you'd like to change. So you know what you do? You get involved. And I want to talk about your dad serving in the military. How cool is that? How cool is that your dad said, I love Britain so much that I am willing to enlist in the military to defend her. You're raised by a hero, a British hero. And how awesome that God blessed your dad, that when he got to America, he got to be in love with American football. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not a fan of what you guys call football in Britain. I've been to Britain a few times. And I prefer ice in my pop. You guys don't. But I will tell you, I love coming to England and eating the mutton. In America, they don't make mutton the way that they do in Britain. It's very good in Britain. That said, how cool is it your dad came and got to learn about American football? And when American football comes to Wembley or to other stadiums, if you're able to go, I hope you do, and enjoy it. And Wayne put a little postscript on here that said, my favorite Raider, and I think this is really cool, my favorite Raider is Colton Miller. He looks really, really big. He is. And let me tell you something about Colton. You want to hear something cool about Colton, Wayne? He's a wonderful guy. He is a wonderful person. You could not have picked a better player on this team than Colton Miller. What a really, really good guy. Now, Wayne went on to add, it's a PS. I love this. Oh, and he doesn't give his age. Oh, yeah, he gives his age. Okay. He says, I have 2 jerseys. I have Max Crosby and Colton Miller. Can you recommend a 3rd jersey? My birthday's coming, so if you could hurry, I would appreciate it. I'm going to be 9. Another 8 3/4 there. Yeah, you know what? What about Devontae Adams? What about Zamir White? Now, I'm going to tell you one that I think you should get. Dylan Parham. Christian Wilkins. Those are 2 really good Raider jerseys. Thayer Munford. There are some really good Raider jerseys. But if you're looking for guys that are right now today superstars, I think you can look at absolutely, without hesitation, Christian Wilkins and Dylan Parham. Really good. And both those guys are really good guys. So you wear that jersey with pride if you get it, okay? And if you get it, would you send me a picture? Just trust me. Send me a picture. All right? Thanks. Now, let's go to the next one. This comes to us from Crystal Y. Crystal Y. Dear Mr. Carpenter, I am 12 years old and about to become a teenager. I am a big Raider fan, and so is my whole family. We love the Raiders so much. We really, really like, we really, 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 really like Aiden O'Connell, but we really, 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 wow, 5 to 6 reallys, like Gardner Minshew. He just looks funny. And I don't mean that he's ugly. I think he's cute. It's your decision. I just think he looks funny when I see his pictures where he poses trying to be funny. I like that a lot. I have 2 questions for you. One is about the Raiders and one is not. The first one is, if you had to guess a percentage number, what do you think the percentage is that Gardner Minshew is the starting quarterback if nobody gets injured for the first week? Secondly, you talk about a book that you love, and I have money in my bank account, and I would like to buy that book because with all my brothers, I want to understand boys and men. Thank you, Crystal. Well, first of all, Crystal, great questions. So expectations, the Gardner Minshew question, I would go in this direction, Crystal. I think the job is Aiden's to lose. I do not believe that Gardner can win the job by playing as good as Aiden. He's going to have to play better. I think Aiden has worked really hard. So if I had to put a percentage, I would say 40%. I think it certainly could happen. At this moment right now, I'm not expecting it, but I certainly think it could. And I don't have a preference. I just want the best one to play and win it. I really don't care. I know Aiden very well. I don't know Gardner very well, but I know everybody on the team likes Gardner, including Aiden, and I know everybody likes Aiden, and I know Aiden well. He's a good man, but I've heard nothing bad about Gardner. I don't mean that he's not a good man. Okay, the book is by a man named John Eldridge, and it's called, I'm trying to get it to show up on there. I'm sorry, everybody. It's called Wild at Heart. It's called Wild at Heart. Outside of my Bible, Crystal, it is the greatest book I've ever read, and I read it every year. It explains, he is a clinical psychologist. He may be a psychiatrist even, but I know he's a clinical psychologist. And it is a phenomenal book that takes you inside the minds of men and boys, why they think the way they do, why they are the way they are. It's a phenomenal book. It's a phenomenal book. It's a great book. I give these away by the case. I buy a case at a time. I give them as birthday presents, Christmas presents, wedding presents. And I think, and I have said this many, many times, I've bought so many copies. I put my money where my mouth is. I think every woman should read it because it helps you understand the people in your life. But it is a phenomenal book. And Crystal, it'll help you. I promise it would. Okay, the next one comes to us from Bob M. Dear Mr. Carpenter, I am 11. My name is Bob M., and I am from Fayetteville, Arkansas. I really appreciated how you described Thayer Mumford in a recent podcast. I am a person that listens a lot. This next line is really cute. And Bob, I'm not laughing at you. I have Asperger's. I just want you to know, Bob, it's Asperger's, A-S, not A-S-S, but I have Asperger's. And so sometimes I listen to things and my dad said I don't understand communication and he has to be careful with me. I was really excited watching with my dad yesterday when you explained how Thayer is such a good listener. You may want to tell him that he may have Asperger's, and it's okay if he does, because Asperger's doesn't mean you're dumb. Asperger's means that God has given you a very good ability and an attention to detail. I know that I'm not going to be a football player. I'm not big. My dad says it's my mom's fault because she's so tiny, that I get that from my mom. But maybe I can help the team if you tell Thayer that he may have Asperger's. Thanks, Bob M. Bob, that is one of the greatest emails I've ever read. And I promise you, little buddy, I'm not laughing at you. I am laughing because you made my heart happy. Now, first of all, you're right. Asperger's doesn't mean you're dumb at all. I have many nieces and nephews, and I have a son that's on the Asperger spectrum. So I know you're 100% correct. And while I don't believe that that's what Thayer has, just based on a couple things that I'm aware of, I think that is a great observation. And I think it's really cool that you're such a good raider that you're watching out for him. And I loved what you said to me at the bottom about please tell him don't worry about people picking on him and that he's not dumb. Thayer's a big guy. I don't think he's worried about people picking on him. And I know he's not dumb. He's really smart. He's a super smart player and a really good guy. So thank you for listening. Tell your dad thank you for watching the podcast with you, Bob. I appreciate you. And I hope that your hogs give you a reason to cheer. Next, this comes from twin brothers and sisters, Mike and Shelly. Dear Mr. Carpenter, we are twins. That's why there are two names at the bottom of this email. We really enjoy your podcast. We think it's very funny. Mike wants me to add, he knows football better than me. I don't think so. Okay. Here is our question that's going to decide who knows football better. Mike says, this is adorable. Mike says that he thinks Ken Stabler was the greatest quarterback ever. You probably won't remember him even though you're old because Mike says he's even older than Uncle Hondo. I said that Aiden O'Connell is the best quarterback because he did everything last year, and Uncle Hondo said it was a tough year losing coaches and having to deal with all that he dealt with. Can you please tell us which one is right? We are twins, so even if you pick one of us over the other, we're not going to hate each other. My mom and dad said we're not allowed to hate each other like other kids because we're twins and we have to be great friends our whole life. Thank you, Mike and Shelly. Any guesses who probably wrote that email? Shelly. Oh man, this is fun. Okay, so I'm going to answer this real easy. I am old enough to remember Kenny Stabler. They called him the Snake, or just Snake, actually. And you may have heard me if you listen every day when I talk about I don't think that Aiden is Ken Stabler now. I don't think there's any question. Ken Stabler is a much better quarterback than Aiden O'Connell right now. Aiden may become that. He may become that for sure. We don't know that, but we know without a doubt, Ken Stabler's great. Sometimes when you're young, Mike and Shelly, because your only time frame is your time of living, you forget that people lived before or that things existed. So let me give you an example. A lot of children, when their parents make mistakes, get mad at the parents and they hold grudges long until the time when they're adults. And they never think, maybe my mommy and daddy were growing up when I was growing up. Moms and dads make mistakes. I have made a lot of them. And so I would just challenge you to look at that and understand that you may not be old enough to remember Kenny Stabler, but because of YouTube, you're able to go find a lot of his videos and really watch him and learn about him. He was a very, very good quarterback. He was a wonderful daddy. He has a daughter that I'm friends with, and he was a wonderful daddy. He was a great football player, a great one of the best. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with thinking that Aiden may be that. There are a lot of people that believe in Aiden. But it's also important to remember you have to let things kind of pan out and play out. I'll give you an example from your lifetime right now. A long time ago, there was a guy who played, and I'm laughing because I have to say that to you, whose name was Michael Jordan. Now, in my opinion, he is the greatest basketball player to ever play the game of basketball. A phenomenal player, a champion. A champion. When LeBron James was coming up, almost LeBron's entire career, everyone's tried to say, oh, he's the greatest, he's the greatest, he's the greatest. Because they have that time frame of growing up with LeBron. And I think LeBron is a tremendous basketball player. But I don't think he's Michael Jordan. And so it's all perspective. Let it play out. Let's wait and see. He very well may be. So what I would say to your answer is, at this moment right now, Kenny Stabler is the much better quarterback. But when Aiden's career is over, you never know. And I'll tell you this. Kenny Stabler's family are big Raider fans. And they're going to be rooting for Aiden because they love the Raiders and they want him to win. And I think Raider Nation would love for Aiden O'Connell to end his career being better than Kenny Stabler. So great question. Great question. Thank you, too. Next comes to us from Tom, and he spells it T-H-O-M, Tom D. Dear Mr. Carpenter, so excited that I'm coming to my first Raider game this year. And my mother and father said that you've talked about tailgating so much, we are going to come and tailgate. Super exciting about tailgating. Can you tell me, as a big Raider fan, what's the best way to do your makeup? And can you tell me what's a great costume idea? And what's the best part of tailgating? Great. Man, Tom, how fortunate are you? You get to go to a Raider game. Raiders, right? Excuse me. I'll get emails about that. I have no idea how to do your makeup. And I know what you mean because so many people do it. But there's lots of people that wear masks or wear makeup. Wayne Mabry, the Violator, he's my buddy. He's a really, really good friend of mine. And he's a wonderful man. Maybe you can call and send him an email or a direct message. Just ask him, how would you suggest the kid start doing his own makeup? Maybe you're going to do it different a few times. So after you get a plan of what you want to be, that's who you're going to be the next 50 years. And you may be the next Wayne Mayberry. Never know, do you? As far as tailgating, what makes it fun is this is what you're going to like, Tom. I don't know where you're from. I don't know anything about you. But when you walk into a Raider Nation tailgate, there are people of every color. There are some people that have a lot of money, and there are some people that don't have any money. There are some people going to the game and some who aren't. And you're even going to see people with jerseys from other teams. But it is a group of people that are so much fun, that care about each other, that are warm. It's like a big family reunion of a bunch of people you didn't know were family. You see, I am convinced, and let me just tell you, I've only been covering the Raiders for 5 years. But I am convinced the longer I cover the Raiders, that the people are what make the Raider franchise. Over the last many, many years, probably most of your life, the Raiders haven't been winners. But why is the fan base still so big? The people. I'm going to tell you something. Make sure I got the name right. I'm going to tell you something, Tom. My dad, a long time ago, taught me no matter what you do for a living, it's always a people business. Everything is about people, 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 people. And a lot of people think the Raiders are about the championships, and it is. I'm not pretending it's not. But the untold story of the Raiders are the people. I am in the process of putting together, I'm going to write a book. I'm going to write a book about the Raiders. And the entire book is going to be about the people. What makes the Raiders special? So you get into that tailgate, and when you see a Raider, whether you know him or not, you give him a high five. I promise you, you're going to meet people there. They're going to offer you food. You're going to meet people there that are so much fun. I saw somebody last year. There was a kid, and they asked him, "Are you a Raider fan?" And he said, "Yes." And I think he had on a Batman shirt. And this man walks over and grabs a Raider jersey and puts it on him. And it was way too big. The guy was a big guy. He goes, "Well, we can't have a Raider without a jersey." I just gave him a jersey, a nice jersey. They're going to give away beads. They're going to have so much fun. Go to that tailgate. You're going to meet so many new friends. Your parents are going to meet so many new friends. I hope to meet you there. But the tailgate is the lifeblood of the franchise because it's the people. It's the people. Don't you ever forget, what makes the Raiders great is the people. Guys like Lyle Alzado, Todd Christensen, Ted Hendricks, Ken Stabler, Matt Millen, Howie Long, Gene Upshaw. Ooh, he was a good one. Art Shell, Jim Otto, Max Crosby, Davante Adams. I mean, there's so many great Raiders. They're what makes the Raider logo the Raider logo. It's the people. And I'm going to end with this, Tom. There's a great Raider who's a great friend of mine. His name is Matt Millen. I love him so much. He's a wonderful, wonderful guy. And long time ago, Matt was the general manager. He was in charge of the Detroit Lions. And he and I were sitting there one day visiting, just two friends. We weren't doing anything. And we were talking about the Raiders. And he said to me that all of the NFL teams, 31 of the 32, their fans think they're part of the organization. And he turned to me and he goes, but only with the Raiders does the organization and players think the fans are part of the organization and the team. That's really big. And when you have a superstar, great player like Matt Millen who says that, that's the basis of my book. And in my book, I'm going to be telling several stories about Raider fans. I'm going to be telling several stories how they became Raider fans, what the organization means to them. It's going to be a really, really good book. And you go there and meet the people, Tom. You'll be so grateful. You'll be addicted. I'll tell you what, it's so awesome the way these people are that they just sucked in my family. And now my wife owns so much silver and black clothes. It's hilarious. It's cost me a lot of money. And I don't care. So check it out, Tom. I think you'll enjoy it. The last one comes to us from Caitlin R. Dear Mr. Carpenter, I love the Raiders. It's a lot of fun. Every year we get to go to a game for my dad's birthday because my mom loves to take him. And my parents have a rule. We will always go to every Raider playoff game, no matter how expensive, but we go to one game in the normal season. I really appreciate the way that you like to answer email. I have an email, and even though I'm a girl, I would hope that you would answer it. Now, Caitlin, I'm going to stop you right there. I don't know what you mean by even though I'm a girl. You don't apologize for that. That's how God made you. There is nothing to put even though I'm just a girl. You're not just a girl. You're special. You're important. Anybody that would tell you you're just a girl is just a person who doesn't matter, because you're not just a girl to your daddy. You're not just a girl to your mama. You're not just a girl to me. You're not just a girl to God. You're a precious little girl. Don't look down on yourself. Even though, and I'm going to change your email here, I'm a precious little girl, I do not understand what it means when you talk about the players and use the words like pow, bam, boom when they are pulling. Is that instead of swear words when they hurt their ankles by pulling their ankle? If you're using those words because you don't want to use swear words because kids are listening, that's really good. But if not, can you explain what you mean by pow, bam, wow, and pulling? I don't understand. Please remember, I'm a precious little girl. I'm changing your words. But I really want to know. I don't want my parents to think I'm dumb. So that's why I didn't ask them. And that's from Caitlin R. Okay. Great question. But I'm going to tell you something. Don't you ever hesitate to ask your mom and dad anything. Your mom and dad are two of the smartest people I know. And I don't know them, but they were smart enough to raise a little girl like you. So don't ever feel, you know what? It'll make your dad or mom so excited because that'll just give you more to make memories over with your parents. Always try to make memories with your parents, because one day they won't be there. I made lots of memories with my dad, lots of them, so many. And I cherish them. They're more valuable than gold to me, Caitlin. So don't ever hesitate. So I'm going to answer it, but then I want you, because you watch the video with mom and dad, when they see it, start asking them your questions. So here's what happens. When I use the term bow, bam, wow, what I mean by that, Caitlin, is I'm trying to express to you the violence or the physicality of them moving. So let me put it in a little bit more detail. No, I'm not talking about pulling a muscle or pulling anything, a ligament. What happens is, I want you to picture, if right in front of you and I is the center, pretend that you're looking at the guy who's going to hike the football, Andre James. He has two men next to him that are guards and two men next to him that are tackles. So the man to his right is the right guard and the right tackle, left guard, left tackle. So let's say that the Raiders are running the ball to the left. And so you have the left tackle blocking somebody, the left guard blocking somebody. Maybe they're double teaming someone. And then the right guard, well, as soon as the ball is hiked, he's in a 3-point stance. He will move his left leg and left arm quick. See, I'm old. I'm not. And bam, he heads down the line of scrimmage, right next to the butts of the left guard and left tackle. He's called pulling, meaning he's moving from the right to the left or left to the right. And he's pulling, and he's looking for somebody to pow, punch, not punch, but to hit. That's all. I hope that makes really, really good sense to you. Hope it makes really, really, really good sense to you. And I need you to do me a favor. I want you to email me. Well, get your parents' permission. Never email and talk to an adult without mom and dad's permission. But email I asked mom and dad if you can send me their email, and I want to email them. I got a little present I want to send to you, and I hope that you enjoy it, and I hope you like it. So there you go, Raider Nation. Just wanted to take a day and answer emails from a bunch of kids. all Raider fans, all burgeoning Raider fans, all becoming Raider fans, born into some good stock. Good stock. Thank you all for joining with me. We're 5 days away. Can you even imagine that? 5 days away from training camp in Costa Mesa. It is almost here. Uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco. Cinco. I'm trying to learn some Spanish, so bear with me. Uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco. 5 days away. Super excited about that. It's going to be a great time. Going to get on that old bird, head to Costa Mesa. I'm ready to go. We're going to have so much Raider coverage for you. I mean, massive, massive amounts of it. And I hope you enjoy every second of it. Have a wonderful day. You go out, attack the world, have a wonderful day. And you remember something. Doesn't matter what you're going through. You're going through. You're not stopping, buying a t-shirt. You're going through. Never forget that. And whether you're a kid or an adult, you're incredibly valuable. You are so incredibly valuable, and you matter. I just want to thank you all for joining me today. God bless you.